Alright, so 5.2 is on congruent polygons. So that could be any shape. This polygon is just a general term for a shape. So the big thing to remember when polygons are congruent is that all corresponding sides and angles are congruent. Okay, so if this shape okay, so it's labeling like all these different the one, all the sides and the angles, the corresponding ones being congruent. So the shape's turned a little bit, but you can see that the angle L has the one little arc mark, and the angle R has the one arc mark, and then T has the two, J has the two, and so on. You could look at the whole thing. Okay, so for what's called a congruence statement, so you'll see this word, this phrase come up, write a congruence statement. So here's the thing, like these two triangles are congruent because all their corresponding sides and angles are labeled congruent. So if I write a congruent statement, so let's say that I write triangle JKL is congruent to triangle, I must follow the corresponding parts. So J has the two arc marks and the T has the two arc marks, so I need to put T. Then K has the 3 and S has the 3, so I need to put that one. And then L has 1 and R has 1. So I must put that order or it's not correct. Okay, so really the first triangle, it doesn't matter the order that you write it in. So I could put KJL. I just need to follow the right order. So K goes with S, J goes with T, and L goes with R. So there's, a bunch of different ways that you could write that something is congruent. And in the first triangle or polygon or whatever, the order doesn't matter. It just matters on the second one that you have to follow the same order. Okay. So some of your first couple problems are just going to be like identify all the corresponding parts. So you'd say, angle J is congruent to angle T, and angle R is congruent to angle L, and just list them out. And then others will be to start like matching up things. So let's look at something like that. So a lot of the time, half the battle is just noticing how things line up. But we can also use the directions to help us. I didn't draw that first one very good, but I'll show you what I mean by the directions helping us. Okay, so on this one, like it says D, E, F, G is congruent to S, P, Q, R. So sometimes just visually, and especially since I drew this kind of messed up, trying to like determine, well, which one goes with which one can be a challenge. Sometimes it's obvious, sometimes it's not. But use the directions. D goes with S, E goes with P, F goes with Q, and G goes with R. So, if you're looking at sides, I'm not going to do all of them because the writing will get messy, but I can list out, like, I'll just list them out. DE is congruent to SP because D and then E and then S and then P. EF is congruent to PQ. FG, technically these are all segments, but FG is congruent to QR, and DG is congruent to SR. So the first and last one kind of end up going all the way back around. So as you're trying to figure this out, you can say, well, I need to solve for X, and then I have an X and a Y, so I'm just going to do the easier one as the X. Well, QR is 2x minus 4, so which one goes with QR? That would be FG, which is the 12. So I kind of used that one right there to set up a small equation. Okay, so there's X, and so then I need to solve for this 6y plus X by the Q, and so then I'd want to say, okay, well, Q goes with F. So F is 68 degrees. Okay, and so I didn't write X because X is 8. And then I can solve okay. So you'll have a few that will you kind of have to solve some stuff, but just pay attention to the directions on some, because it absolutely helps you figure out what goes with what and makes it a lot easier. So there's a few of those where you just have to like solve for X, or some of them are just a number. You just match them up together. There are a couple problems that say show the polygons are congruent, explain your reasoning. You just need to list out everything that's congruent. So all the angles and all the sides. And then that's your explanation. It says explain your reasoning. Okay, and then the last couple problems, it says, find the measure of angle 1, and they're in triangles. So keep in mind that triangles, the angles add up to 180, like we talked about yesterday. So you can use that as well. Okay? All right, hopefully not too complicated for you, but hopefully you have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow.